North Korea has lashed out over the deployment of US B-1B bombers to the south. Pyongyang on Thursday vowed to turn Seoul into a, quote, sea of fire if it perceives an attack. Connie Kim has more.
North Korea has lashed out at Washington for sending its supersonic bombers earlier this week for flyovers near the inter-Korean military demarcation line. The spokesman for the Supreme Command of the North's military on Thursday threatened to turn Seoul to ashes with its nuclear weapons, and going a step further, threatened to annihilate Guam, where the American B-1B bombers are based. North Korea's rhetoric continued in its media outlet, Maeari. It dismissed South Korea's recent warning that it would wipe Pyongyang off the map if it showed the lightest sign of actually using its nuclear weapons. The regime called the South Korean government's stance foolish and warned Pyongyang instead would turn Seoul into a, quote, sea of fire on any sign of an attack. Pyongyang has maintained that its development of nuclear weapons is a self-defense measure meant to protect the region from the U.S. South Korea's military flatly dismissed the regime's belligerent rhetoric.
There's no value in commenting on remarks from an internet propaganda outlet. With respect to this typical behavior by the North, the South Korean military continues to strengthen its surveillance.
As the North continues to isolate itself from the international community with its provocations, the top nuclear envoys of South Korea and China have met in Beijing for the first time since Pyongyang's nuclear test earlier this month. Although details of the talks have not been revealed, the two are expected to have discussed narrowing their differences on ways to respond to North Korea's nuclear weapons program. Seoul and Washington have called for stronger measures to pressure the North into denuclearizing, but Beijing remains cautious about any sanctions that could threaten the North Korean regime's survival. Connie Kim, Arirang News.